But first, today's episode of Locked On Baylor is brought to you by our pals over at LinkedIn. For those of you in the transfer portal for your job or you're hiring for your small business, the place to find the quality job, find the quality candidates for whichever side you're on is LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn ain't like any other job board, okay? They help you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for that new role, but might be perfect for it. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedon, COLLEGE, to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Things are going well for Baylor football right now, especially offensively. And who wouldn't want to play in this offense? The way that Spav has drawn it up, the way that Sawyer Robertson is delivering that thing, really shooting it the way Uncle Rico used to do back in the day, just firing it over them mountains. Who wouldn't want to come and play for this? Well, let's ask Johntay Davis. Johntay, I don't know who Johntay Davis is. Let's ask Johntay Cook, because I was thinking about John L. Davis. Let's ask Johntay Cook, the now former Texas Longhorn wide receiver. Boy, it would have helped if I didn't try like dramatic effect on that. Johntay Davis, Johntay Cook II. And a Bombshell News announces on Thursday that he has left the Texas football program. Transfer portal wasn't used right away, which I found interesting. It was been dismissed from the program. All the reports coming out are that it was a disagreement between Johntay Cook and the coaching staff, and that they just didn't get along. There's a disconnect there. And now he's fair game for anyone else looking for a playmaker at that position, because he was a big time recruit out of high school. He played at DeSoto, which is like a pro football factory, Division I Power 4 factory at this point. And he did get an offer from Baylor very early on, but he was a 4-star guy, one of the top recruits in all of Texas at any position. And it wasn't that long ago. Okay. It was 2 years ago. He's played a little bit each of his first 2 years at Texas, but he had a quite a scouting report coming out of high school. Elite feel for the position and way ahead of his age in technical acumen, as Gabe Brooks put it, playing for DeSoto and being right there at the formation of those state championship teams. But he has been, not the biggest playmaker, but someone who has been in the fold for UT the last 2 years, this year and last year. He's caught 8 balls in each season. Almost identical stats, actually. 8 for 136 for 17 yards per catch last year. 8 receptions for 137 and 17.1 yards per catch this year, with a couple of touchdowns in 2024 as well. So I don't know if it was a dispute over playing time or something off the field or what, but all we know is that he's been dismissed from the program, but it sounds like almost a mutual thing, if there is such a thing at this level, of where he was not happy with his role in the team or with the coaching staff or whatever that may be. Baylor should give this kid a real look. And I know that sounds weird to say right after saying he was dismissed from the team, disagreements with the coaching staff, but I look at a guy like Michael Trigg, and the season is not done, but this story with Johntay Cook is very much like the one with Michael Trigg. Trigg left Ole Miss in the middle of the season last year. There were reports that he hadn't shown up to practice and kind of just walked out of there, walked out on his team. And we don't know the whole story with that. He hits the portal. Baylor gets him. He got suspended earlier this year, but Dave Aranda has spoken pretty glowingly about Michael Trigg since. He has made some big plays for Baylor since. And so I look at a situation like that. If Trigg can, stay out of trouble and help this team and be a leader on this team for the rest of the season, then you got to look at a similar situation with Johntay Cook. Again, this is not like a decade ago. These guys don't have felonies. They don't come with huge warning labels that we've heard of yet. But yeah, it's the elephant in the room. He got dismissed from the program. But this was a kid that Baylor was interested in out of high school, and they are going to need some help at that position. We have already seen the signs of intent this year because they already offered or are looking at a wide receiver from Indiana who hit the portal last month. So that is a position they are going to target. They got a couple of guys coming in this 2025 recruiting class. But when you look at the receiver position, Josh Cameron has another year at his disposal. But Hal Presley, Ketron Jackson, I think is how we're saying it this week, Monterey Baldwin, and Ashton Hawkins, all seniors. That's almost your whole receiving core right there. And again, you got some guys coming in. You got some, a couple, less than a handful that are returning that have made any plays this year. And you're going to have to hit the portal. You're going to have to hit the portal hard. And here you go. Here's a guy in your backyard who has proven to be a playmaker, big-time prospect out of high school. We always say sometimes they need a change of scenery. Sometimes they need a different coaching staff. And sometimes they need to transfer a place and slot in as the number one receiver. That's what we were thinking with Ketron Jackson, a guy who was a number 2 or 3 receiver at Arkansas, probably didn't get the shine he was hoping for. He comes here, he slots in as the number 1 receiver. Now he's had some injuries and it hasn't really worked out. But you look at a guy like Johntay Cook, and that could be the same situation. Guy needs a chance to get some more shine, be that number 1 target out there. And if he came to Baylor, it would be Josh Cameron and Johntay Cook. Those would be the top 2 guys you're looking at. So I say bring him into the facility. Have him take a look around. Meet the coaching staff. Meet Dallas Baker. See what we can't do with this kid. He is going to be one of them. I'm telling you, you might not love his stats. And you might say, Cam, why are we talking about this for a guy who has 16 catches in 2 years? I'm telling you, when we get to portal season, Johntay Cook is going to be one of the top names at that position. He is. He is going to be quite sought after. And if you don't see Baylor going after him, or if you don't see some other big name programs going after him, then there's more to this story. But for right now, we don't know a lot. And it could just be a case where he needs a new place. And he needs a chance to, be developed as a leader. And I think what Dave said about Michael Trigg when Trigg was suspended along with Steve Linton was curious in a good way. So he had said about those 2 guys, that there are some guys who, they come from other places and those places don't have the same, conduct or off the field standard that we have. And then he talked about 2 guys, and Linton and Trigg are both on college number 3, talking about this is their last chance. And they have to know that this is their last chance. And it might not have that same effect over someone who's only been to 1 school versus those guys having been to 2 already. But since then, nothing's come out from that locker room. So maybe it is a case where Dave Aranda was like, this is your last chance, guys. It's now or never. And if you mess up again, it's never. And maybe that is the kind of place they can be for Johntay Cook. But this kid can be a real playmaker. Again, I mean, he was a human highlight reel at DeSoto, which is playing like the top high school football in America, just about. Just like men against boys in 6A football in Texas. That is an absolute factory. So Devin Bobby is DeSoto Eagle. Von Miller played at DeSoto, if you remember that name. So plenty of great players coming out of there. Could Johntay Cook be the next one? And could he be that for the Baylor Bears? Certainly worth a look. Cook is worth a look. Thank you for making it to the end of the video, and thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network part of your daily routine. We have got you covered with the most Baylor Bears athletics coverage of any outlet that's not directly tied into Baylor University. So if you want more of that, be sure to like and subscribe. Ring that notification bell to get notified every time we're dropping a video here on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks, and sick 'em.